Hair.
You can keep it that way on
I always thought I had the wrong kind. You see, to lots of people, these commercials are just commercials.
Direct way to beautiful
To a
hair.
little black girl growing up in the early 2000s, it's more. It's a standard that she can never morph herself into, but she'll keep trying to fit. She'll keep straightening and ironing and burning until someone reminds her that she is beautiful and her natural curls are a standard all their own. My name is Yamoaa. I'm a student at FSU, and I've been given the opportunity to make a film for my documentary class. Being a black woman, it has taken me a long time to love my natural hair.
This is Yamoaa about to jump off.
Part of that comes with the fact that society never really saw my type of hair as adequate. I wanted to make something that showcased black beauty and spoke up about the lack of understanding that society has when it comes to African American hair. I'm tired of my hair being disrespected by people who don't even bother to ask if they can touch it. So that's what led me to make the film, Please Don't Touch My Hair. But here's the thing, my crew is white. Knowing that Devin and Zach chose to be a part of this film as director of photography and editor made me think a lot about how I could teach them about my culture. After talking about it with them and my professor, I decided I wanted to have them as characters. I wanted to put them in a position where they could ask questions in a safe space. From there, we started the production process. Are you excited about your first interview?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little anxious because I don't want to say the wrong thing or come off the wrong way.
I get why you're nervous about it. Right. It's also really easy to think like you're gonna go into this and he's just gonna like roast you or something. But like Yante's a cool guy. Mm-hmm. He's really understanding, so I don't think you'll have any issues.
That's why I'm kind of excited. I'm gonna get like a better idea of like what to say, maybe what not to say. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. But what are you like most concerned about?
I just think like the way I'm perceived, I just worry about looking like a clueless white woman.
Acknowledge that you're white. Being a parent of your whiteness is the first step to understanding blackness, because we're not the same. Okay, like our culture is not the same. We didn't go through the same ways. Systematically, we don't experience the same experiences. Historically, we haven't gone through the same things. Yeah. And there's a way to learn from that and appreciate that in being white. And if you can do that, there shouldn't be a problem with the white community. Just taking a second to just try and listen. Yeah. Just listen, because we're yelling. We've been yelling. Involving Devin and Zach in the interviewing process was a risk. I didn't know if it would be too uncomfortable for them or if there would be any point to any of it at all. What I did know was that I had amazing interview subjects with stories to tell, and I hoped that them speaking about their journeys would motivate Devin and Zach to learn more.
Hi, my name is Beza Alford, and I've been wearing my hair the same way every day for almost the past 2 years. And when I was in middle school, I wanted to grow my hair out, but my natural hair is like really kinky curly, so it's really difficult to deal with. So I started chemically straightening my hair all throughout middle school. It felt like a cop-out because I knew that I didn't really have like the skills to take care of my hair because I was adopted. So all of my family is white with all the love in the world. My mom didn't know how to take care of black hair, which meant that I never learned how to take care of black hair. So by the time that I was old enough to maybe like potentially know how to do that, I didn't have those skills kind of already ingrained in me at that age. Straightening my hair at that point just really felt like the best thing to do for myself, even though in the long run it was really damaging. And when I was in high school, I put my hair into dreadlocks, and I grew out natural dreadlocks for 4 years until they were about at my shoulders.
We spent 5 talking about our lives, but we talk like that about
I think my hair just kind of identifies me as definitely a part of like a black culture that really likes natural style and something unique and indifferent to standards of having like long, straight, perfect hair.
My name is Deontay Paletta. You can call me Yante. My father used to cut my hair low. I used to have a peanut head. 10th grade years when I started to grow my hair out and like really started to curl my hair and really like, get into my roots of like, of the curls. The things that make a good barber is number one, your hairline has to be crisp. And second, the fade has to be nice and clean. It has to be faded, it has to be blended because the fade's not nice and messes up the whole haircut. Third, just like customer service, talking to, engaging with your customer, getting to know your customer on a personal level. That way, you don't lose that customer. You get out the car, you walk through the door, I'll go dap him up, say what's up, what's up, Ricky? He'll ask, how you doing? And then, he'll ask me what I want. And I'll be like, you know what I want. I get the regular. He's like, all right, cool. And the regular's just, I get a temp fade and I'll get it blended down and the same in the back. And then he'll line me up. He'll razor cut my edges and everything to make sure everything's clean and cut. Give him his fee. I'm gonna go my way.
My name is Kayla Palmer. My hair is always kind of, even the colors that I choose to put in has always kind of represented like who I am, how I see myself, what I'm comfortable in. Like it's just having fun and experimenting because it's really incredible the different things that people can do with their hair just with a little bit of product, a little bit of patience, some experience. You can learn new tips from other people. You can try hairstyles that you've never tried just because you see somebody else rocking it and you're like, hey, well, that might be something that I can try with my hair. When we as women of color express ourselves through our hair, it's for us. It's so we can present ourselves in our best viewed light to the world. And that's not really for others to judge or comment on or try to take.
So how are you feeling about having a conversation with Devin about black hair?
I'm excited to have a conversation with Devin. I'm curious to know what is gonna be discussed, other than the obvious, which is black hair. But I'm excited to kind of, I guess, pick her brain too as well, because I kind of want to know what she's thinking, what she wants to know.
Did you wish that your hair was different when you were growing up?
For a time I did. For a time I definitely wished it was different. It's not necessarily that I wanted my hair straight or anything like that, but it's just that, growing up, the amount of care that went into doing my hair, for me at that time, it wasn't a labor of love. Like now I take joy in, taking care of my hair. Whereas as a child, when I wasn't the main caretaker, when my mother was taking care of it, for me it was just another chore.
Yeah.
It was like I had to sit there, and I had to get my hair done, I had to get it combed, and it hurt. Nobody talks about how much it hurts. Yeah. So it took a minute for me to fall in love with my hair the way I did.
Well, did you ever wish like you had different kinds of hair?
Well, being Puerto Rican, I sometimes wish that my hair was like looser. Cause my little brother, his hair, he has more Hispanic hair than I do. So you could tell like our curls are different. Like my curls are more coarse and like that hairs are looser. But I mean, as I grew older, it doesn't really matter to me. I love when, white people actually like are endorsed in our culture, and like for us to be able to come together, it would be so much better than, being split apart based on somebody trying to mimic somebody else rather than trying to learn from somebody, because there's so much history that needs to be taught between us,
Do you think you can give me an example of like the difference between like respecting black culture and like learning from it, taking part of it, in contrast to like mimicking it?
I would say like there's certain white people who do extreme stuff, like, like as far as like do-rag, something that certain people do it because they think it's a fad, they think it's a trend, when we're doing it actually for our hair. Even slang, like using certain slang that we use, like that's not in your daily vernacular. Like, why are you gonna sit there and use that knowing that I'm right here, you're trying to fit in, when you're with your other friends who are all white, you're not gonna use that type of language. So it's like certain stuff like that. It's like, if you're embraced in it, you're endorsed in it, you pick up on our daily conversations, and you might slip it in there and then there. You're like, oh, okay, what you know about that? What you know about that?
Another question I got for you, just for like white people like appropriating you guys' culture. If a white person were to braid their hair or like dread their hair.
It just depends on how you go about it, because some, like, I remember Kim K, for instance, she braided her hair and then people were saying she started this trend. Like, no, she didn't start the trend. If people are able to understand that that comes from another thing, then that's fine. But when people say, oh, you started this, you started that, and it's not true, that's when the problem permits.
The problem with braiding hair as a non-black person, like specifically when it comes to women, is like, we have gotten discriminated for having our hair in braids for so long. Like, even I remember in certain schools you weren't allowed to have braided extensions, and that's like a protective style for your hair so you can like live. Like, if I braid my hair up, it means it's wintertime and I can't take care of it. And then like to do that, and then for a white person like him to be like, it's fashion. It's not just fashion. It's like how I protect my hair.
I touch my hair too much and then it gets gross and greasy and I just like can't handle it.
I mean, not to say that black people, we don't play in our hair, but it seems to be much more commonplace for at least the white females that I've come across. The whole touching in your hair, that's
You don't do that stuff?
yeah, no.
Don't touch your hair.
Like, that's not a thing in a lot of black households.
Set your hair, right?
Exactly, like it's set where it's supposed to be. Why are you all up in it? It's not a,
Yeah.
oh yeah, play in your hair. It's not, that's not something that we ever get told to do.
Yeah, I get that.
Or like really are allowed to do. I don't know if I can ask you a question. But
Yeah, please.
Do you think that that might be why you sometimes see the whole, oh, can I touch your hair?
Like,
Towards black
oh,
people?
because
it might be more common
never
to play in
thought
your
about
own hair as a
that.
white person.
There's this woman who like would always come up behind me. I had no idea she was there, and she would always play with my hair. I get that part of it. Like, obviously there's so many layers that I would never get, but I get that part of it. Do you think that like you're learning anything from this experience? And if so, what do you hope that's gonna look like in the coming like months and years as you continue to be black? Because that's just how it's gonna be.
This experience in general has made me more open to being open with white people about my experiences as a black woman. I've grown to support the idea that if somebody asks a question, it should be answered. It's not always gonna come in a pretty neat little box. Even the ones that accidentally come off very racist, they're important to answer, because how is that person ever to know?
Yeah.
And if you do answer it and now they do know, well, now you can hold them accountable. Even in terms of racism, you can't point a finger. If you are not gonna be the type of person who's willing to educate someone, you can't be mad when people are ignorant.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main lessons that I have learned in this entire experience.
I started working on this film feeling out of place and unsure if my whiteness even made me qualified to photograph it. I admittedly knew very little about black hair and had always been afraid to ask questions, but getting the chance to have a candid conversation on camera with Kayla and going through this whole filmmaking process in general has taught me that racism is my responsibility, and that I and other non-people of color need to stop ignoring it just because it's uncomfortable. And sometimes that's going to mean asking difficult questions and being vulnerable enough to admit that I can't understand what it's like to be black and to have black hair.
I've learned so much making this documentary. Of course, I've been aware of the more media-focused issues regarding people of color, but as we dove into these interviews and discussions about black hair, I realized that things as simple as our morning routine and as complex as our social experiences are so different. Pretending to believe that we all act the same and are all treated the same has gotten us nowhere. But when we begin to talk about our differences and try to understand what makes us unique, we have to be taking a step in the right direction.
At the end of the day, we all just need to take time to learn about each other, learn to appreciate one another, learn how to respect one another, and all the unique aspects of our cultures. In my eyes, the first step to that is giving my community a voice.
My hair is not yours to touch.
It's a matter of respect, not just for the person's hair, but for the person.
Consent is always one of the most crucial things in any interaction.
My hair is mine. I shouldn't have to worry about it being dealt with by any other person.
Don't touch my hair, don't push my hair back, don't mess up, what I created for myself. So I do understand that in a sense. So like you said, please don't touch my hair.
Please don't touch my hair.
Please don't touch my hair.
Please don't touch my hair.